Hello, good day, and welcome to Frontliner on Ogama TV, reaching you live from the coast city, Enugu State. And with me in the studio today is the President General of AGUNESE NAT'L community in Ogu local government, Architect Simeon Okike. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be in Ogama TV.
Okay. All right. So, as the President General, AGUNESE NAT'L is a very critical, important community when it comes to Enugu economic development due to their nature of agriculture. And for some time now, there have been a lot of concerns from the community from issues involving security matters, education, and some critical developmental concerns of the community. And more interestingly, more like a rift between some group of persons and the traditional ruler. Last year, 2022, February, there were court cases, protests, and a lot of things against traditional ruler and some other move made by some group of persons from that area in protest to some sort of policies that didn't sit well with them. So let's start from that angle. What is the situation of things in the market?
From my personal point of view and the view of the town union, I think we've done enough to douse the fire that was trying to spread. Okay. Quite all right, as you pointed out, in 2022, there was a rift. Well, as a matter of fact, there's still that rift. There is a rift between the traditional ruler and a few individuals that he accused. So, but the town union had done quite certain things that we believe will continue to move the process of peace, because it was a serious issue. We called a peace conference in early last year, 2022. No, this year, 2023, to be exact, 7th of January. We called a peace conference between the group of people and the traditional ruler. Unfortunately, it didn't actually achieve all that we wanted. But I want to tell you that I am very happy that because we have started that process. Okay. And when you talk about peace, people should understand what peace is not a bread you buy from the shelter. It's something that deals with human emotions and intellect. So it's something you have to be very careful and manage it and be patient. So, and I think that's what we are doing. We are continue to do little by little things that are going to move that process forward. It hasn't been fully resolved, but we're not letting it sleep. We're working on that. Because we know you can't talk about development without peace. And it's also affecting security. And if you talk about a rural economy that doesn't have peace nor security, then of course it's going to be terrible. So we have taken the bull by the horn by first of all calling that peace summit, which tried to break the ice, and we are continuing to work on that. Then on the other end, I believe also that some other people are trying to hype the thing and cash in on it, because I traveled around the country to visit all the branches, and some people have raised this issue of peace, that there's no peace. And I put myself on record to make it very clear that as far as I'm concerned, let anybody prove me wrong, that there's no problem whatsoever between the Igwe and I as the President General. Okay. And secondly, there's no problem between Igwe and the town union, AGUNESE NAT'L Union. There's no problem whatsoever. The channel of communication is open Whether he's around in this country or not, I reach him anytime, and he reaches me. So what I don't understand, some people are crying more than the bereaved, because maybe they have something else. So I put this on record everywhere I've gone, and I want this message to get out. Or if anybody has any proof whatsoever that there's a problem, or maybe Igwe has started any case or whatever, which I know it doesn't exist, because even last week, I was with him last week. So if somebody doesn't have that, please let people give peace a chance and accept change. A town union president, a different town union president. I'm not the former town union president. I'm Simeon Okike. I gotta do things the way I do my own things, because eventually it is me that people are going to blame or hail. You understand? So, but I think the bottom line is, if we have an open mind, we'll be looking at what is this guy doing? Is it in the best interest of the community? You understand?
Yes.
Remove any petty personal interest, but look at the community as a whole, and then you will now be able to assess what we are doing. And based on that, we've tried to lay a foundation. We haven't rushed it. We'll try to stabilize this system, try to lay foundation, because, well, of course, this October 12th and 13th, we held a development conference. And that's the first in the whole of Ogun local government, and I bet it will be the first any town union has held such a conference. We are not looking for records, but the issue is that we find out that there's need for such a conference. We want people to come. Let our people come. We'll sit. Listen, as a town union president, I can do anything if we do not have a program. Something like a development plan, fashioned out by the whole community. When it comes to the point that it is the town union president or the town union that is fashioning out this, and they are the judge, the jury, and everything, it's not going to augur well for better development. So that is why we had to call that conference, to call all our people from different areas, villages, branches. Everybody was represented, so that we will now, whatever we chart as the path we're going to follow, then it becomes the work of the town union to carry out those policies. And then they can now be assessed or judged in their performance by how far they have gone in carrying out those things. And I am very glad to mention that this one was very, very successful, and a communique was developed at the end of the conference. And the communique, actually, if you look at it, it forms a part, just a pathway. First of all, you see, it talks about education, okay, a roadmap for education development in our community, in which case we're talking about both. We're going to have foundations for scholarship for indigent and brilliant kids. We want to see how we can help our people, because when we talk about education, well, it's a wholesome education. It's not a one-sided education. Getting skills, people getting educated in trades is also part of it. Because some of the young men who are in the villages, and people saw them say they are smoking hemp and so on. Some of them might be a question of 50,000 naira that has frustrated them in life.
True.
And they've gone waste. As President General and the town union, we say that cannot no more happen under our watch. So under this education is a composite thing. The ones that are going for Western education and those who are learning for trade and so on and so forth, all of them are encompassed in under education. Then for social interaction, like age grades, because for instance, like now, I was telling one of my son, I was telling him that, you know, all of us are going to the social media. Do you know why how the social media came about? Social media is actually is not African. Because we have Umunna, something that does even your town, like me, we have a village. Okay, this town, you know, we have a branch in Enugu here. Okay. My village, we have a meeting here. The greater Mako, we also have a Mako Patriotic Union, which brings the whole of Mako. So you have areas where you interact with people. Then, of course, Umunna in your village, they have important meetings. They call you. Yes. If you're not going to be there physically, you can also interact them with phone. Then you see that in the West, they don't have all these. Everybody sees all these. So that is what social media serves the purpose it serves for them. In our culture, we have age grades. Like now, no matter how rich you are, your mate, your age mate can tell you anything. Any other person may not be able to do that, but your age mate. So that is why such things are things we want to strengthen and then use it as an instrument to manage the people, to bring up, because for instance, if you want to levy and levy on age grade, he's not going to disappoint you, because no age grade will want to be found wanting, and so on and so forth. So these are areas, the things that they talk. Then of course we talked about peace, security. They all go together. How we are going to, because if you have a vigilante, neighborhood, or any other security organization you have in a community, and only about 1% of them are paid stipends, is it a security organization? It's not. Because what about those who are not paid anything? You're sending somebody to watch over property worth serious money, and he doesn't receive any compensation whatsoever. That is where the town union comes in. So these are things we're thinking about. We're also going to have a kind of foundation that is going to be raising money, equipping them, and also trying to make sure that we give them something that is going to help them so that they now know that they are appreciated. So these are areas the conference treated, and you also talked about investment. We want to create a rural economy. Our people are very enterprising. There are certain products we have that are unique, like this Edofe. Our own is the best. The whole of our own is the best anywhere. So now there are some other things we produce, and so on and so forth.
Can you just maybe list one?
Both okra, both angra, the leaves that is used both in eating yams and even cassava, even plantain, roasted plantain. Some of the leaves they put there and all those things. All those pawpaw fruits, they are from our place. Now, people like oha, the yellow it comes from trees. Yes. People are coming from Port Harcourt to buy the thing. People are coming from Lagos to buy. People are coming from Enugu to buy. Now, if we organize the thing in such a way that it's not only those who come from Lagos, people who could create a system, a platform that could help these people to market. Don't say we work on standardization and make sure that we get the system to be scrutinized and be clear and honest. And then people could be ordering, so that you find out that most of these young men also will even not get into farming, because they now see that these things are giving money. And they now see that the stress, because for instance, like a young man harvesting this and then carrying it to come to Enugu here, he wouldn't want to do that. But if he knows he can do that, and then all you just need to do is do that and then make a call, and somebody says, okay, send it money, before he knows it, there's a lot on his phone, then of course he makes life, that gives him confidence, that gives him joy. And then, so there are so many others. We have a market that we want to develop. And if all things being equal, branches are interested in building lock-up stores in the market. Some have started already. And if things go to plan, then we might also introduce some other products like this cucumber. A place will be very, very good for it. And then try and see if we make that place a daily market.
Okay. Yeah, you've said a lot, even more than some of the things I had already put down to ask you. Just still talking about economic development of Agunese Mako.
Okay.
Looking at the reports from the social committee during the conference, there are a lot of concern and emphasis on the issue of tourism.
Yes.
And tourism is one thing that is not so much appreciated, especially within this our client Southeast. We have a lot of natural waterfalls and a lot of monumental structures or artifacts that you could actually go there and have a nice time with your family and friends. But most of the time, these things, most of us don't even know where these things are. And I believe, and I know very well, that Mako has one of the most interesting water body. Yes.
Yes.
So what is the community or town union doing in that regard, aside these other areas you've mentioned?
First of all, the greatest work in that is trying to sensitize the people, marketing the thing. And I don't think the problem we have is on investment. For instance, let me give you an example of how large the problem is. I speak Chinese.
Okay,
But I don't speak Yoruba.
it's interesting.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, that's our mentality. If I go to Lagos, just as you mentioned, most often we get used to staying with one relative or the other. And these are the things that kill tourism.
Okay.
Now, in most countries, even Asian countries, people value holidays. People reward themselves. It's not about drinking beer. It's about giving yourself time. Have a free time. Change your environment. Have a better atmosphere. That does a lot in their life. That hasn't come to our culture. So why I'm happy that that came up in the conference, because it's like now we have begun to get out the message. We have begun the process of this marketing. First of all, to let our people know, because let me tell you, our people don't even know that those things are valuable. Now, we have to start from our people, letting them know that these things are valuable. Then we have to start actually getting onto the wider distance of the Southeast, as you mentioned, because it is there that are going to lead before somebody from the North or from the West will begin to come. It is there that are going to begin to tell the stories of what they have seen or what they've enjoyed here or there. So the greatest thing we need to do is to do that issue of marketing and creating the need, so that people will now know that it's something worth spending money on. Okay. Now, as for the investment, I am very, very sure that most of our young men will be ready to invest. Okay. For instance, when you talk about hotel accommodation, I think that will be so easily done. You understand? Yeah. So, but when you talk about investment, somebody has to do a feasibility. And if it does a feasibility and find out that it's not going to sell, and that is why I'm talking about this marketing first. But if on doing the feasibility sees that something is boiling under, you find out a lot of people will even rush in to go and make that investment, so that will be the first to cash in on that. Yes. So it's a two-pronged this thing. We are working on that marketing, creating the market within the community, and then gradually with something like we are talking about it now in this communique, what we are going to do. We have our terrain is fantastic. I don't know any other this in the house. It's a mixture. Everything you have. Some places are plain clear, some places are hillsides, and so on and so forth. You can stay in and see any part of Owo. So it's something that, and then of course you have waterfalls, you have caves. So these are things our people didn't appreciate, that they are valuable. So working on that, we're trying to get this message out, or these are things that are there. Then at the same time, we have already started discussions with, especially those who are in diaspora, who would understand what we are talking about investment. Okay. So we are seriously very interested. And there was this, what they call it Women for Women. They had a program there where they were rearing chicken, and so it was a women organization of lifting people. So that somehow got grounded. We intend, as part of the investment and tourism, these are some of the things that people will come to see, because we want to restart it and make it to become even more interesting, so that people come. They will see, not only will it create market, not only will it create an economy, empower people, but it will be something that people will want to come to see. What is happening here is interesting, and they will want to copy it. We want to lead that way, and in that way, we'll be able to leave marks that is going to help not only ourselves but others.
Okay. You have said a lot, and all this requires careful planning and execution. Talking about using age grades and bringing investors within and outside and a lot of things. Then I'm also we're looking at all these things needs to start from somewhere. So how do you plan on implementing this? Bringing the youth on the street. How do you want to make this person understand that this is this, this is this, and in that conference, we observed that the youths were not so much represented. And one would wonder, are they not part of the developmental journey of this community, or what would be the case? Can you just tell us?
Okay, the second branch of your question about the youth. What we did was a national conference, in which case we allotted its delegates conference.
Okay.
Branches, each branch is allotted 5 slots.
Okay.
Villages, 5 delegates, and then the youth as a whole were given 5 delegates.
Okay.
Because we still intend to have a youth conference. If we want to treat issue of youth in that conference, maybe it's going to be a 1-week conference, and it might not be easy for us to manage it. That is why I wanted to do this one, and then we're going to come so that we can concentrate and focus on, because there are so many things we have to deal with in the youth. We want to do it separately so that we can have the time and then give them the opportunity to speak for themselves. And then we're now going to put all these things down to get another communique concerning the youths specifically.
Okay.
That were planned. Is all things being equal, it will happen before Easter next year. Okay. That's on the second part of your question. Then on the first part, we have already set up committees before the conference, because we're expecting things to come out from the conference. So we had set committees. For instance, the Committee on Education and Empowerment is headed by Engineer Eddie Okafor. He's a petroleum engineer in Port Harcourt. He's going to take, that is, and then of course the secretary is a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Patrick Ochi. Yeah. So you find out when you have this kind of people, we want to do things. We don't want to just make it count. We want to do things that people are going to see it and see that things are being done. Then when you talk about the peace and reconciliation and boundaries, is Pastor Bath Konkwo. Okay. And then Ike Okpala is the secretary. And we talk about security. The security is headed by a retired ASP of police, okay, and John Anuku is the chairman of the security. So we had already set up committees now waiting for what is going to come out the communique. It is these committees that are going to be used now to implement the communique, the resolutions in the communique. So we are ready to go. The committees, each village is represented in the committee. Even His Royal Highness, the palace, is represented in those committees. Okay. Because everybody is our committee, is our community. We work together so that to make sure that every voice is heard. Whatever is going to be done, it will be done cleanly, and everybody will know. If anybody says any other thing otherwise, then we know we have done our best.
Okay, thank you very much. Coming to education, I would want to take it bit by bit, because I understand there was a constitution committee.
Yes.
Does that mean there was no constitution before, or is it a committee that would amend the existing? And if the committee is to amend, what's wrong with the initial constitution? What are the loopholes, and what exactly do you aim to achieve with the new constitution, if it will?
Okay. I'll begin with an example.
Okay.
Before, if you want to build a house in the village, it will be your job to begin to look for those that own land along the place you want to have your road. Mm. You go and meet them individually and you negotiate with all of them. When you have finished that, then you can call the youths or whatsoever and discuss with them before they make the road for you. Sometimes people spend as much as 250,000 only to get a road to the house. So one of the things, the first things we did when we came in as a town union is to see how we can solve that problem.
Okay.
And because of that, we created a lands and town planning committee.
Okay.
And their job is for anybody who wants to build, each village chairman is a member of this committee.
Okay.
Now, if I want to build a house now and I will need a road, I'll go straight to that committee and make my request. Now, the job of the committee is not just to give you a road or give me a road.
Okay.
It's to create a road that will serve me and serve some others. Okay. Because as I told you, some people spend as much as 250 to get a road. That road comes and ends in front of his house. Yes. So, and we decided it's wrong. Because of that, we decided now to create streets. Areas we see development is reaching. If somebody is the first person to begin to develop that area, he will come to the committee. The committee with the village chairman, particularly the village chairman of that village, yeah. They will go there and look at how they are going to create that road. The road will serve the person and serve other people who are going to build, so that not every time you'll be carrying this. So the issue of spending so much money, the issue of going to negotiate with individuals is no more your problem.